Updated December 2, 2017 165,121. The WA Building Commission is expected to begin ordering the removal of highly flammable cladding from a number of buildings in the coming weeks, as it enters the inspection phase of a statewide audit. Termed the business end of the audit by Director of Compliance Sandy Randall, 214 buildings will be inspected to ensure they are not clad with dangerously flammable material. Ms. Randall said if extreme cases were detected it may be forced to order the evacuation of buildings, but she did not expect that to be likely, with only 2 evacuations ordered during a similar audit in Victoria. The more likely scenario is that we're going to have high-risk buildings, in which case the local governments could issue building orders on the building owners requiring that they remove the panels that are dangerous, she said. The WA Building Commission initiated an audit of aluminium cladding in the wake of a 2014 fire at Melbourne's La Crosse apartment building. The initial audit was broadened into a statewide audit after combustible cladding fueled the Grenfell apartment tower fire in London, which claimed 80 lives. A quick guide to cladding. Aluminium composite external cladding has been identified as a potential risk. External walls of buildings should not be made of material which can contribute to the spread of fire. Regulators say building approval process in WA different to Victoria, and the form of construction of units is often different. If shiny aluminium panels are found, the materials used should be able to be checked via the builder or the local council. Aluminium panels inspected by the Building Commission in the Perth CBD so far were found to have a mineral component, and were fire-resistant. The statewide audit identified 460 multi-story buildings in WA with cladding, 382 of which have been assessed. In June the audit found an apartment building for homeless youth in Leederville did not comply with regulations. The WA Department of Communities and Housing confirmed in October it was removing the dangerous cladding. It was revealed this week that 214 of the assessed buildings could have highly flammable cladding and have been flagged for inspection early in 2018. A number of builders, certifiers and building owners could face penalties if they are found to have put people at risk by installing or approving dangerous cladding out of negligence. Ms. Randall said prior to the La Crosse fire in 2014 the industry was divided as to how cladding-related codes should be interpreted, and this would likely be taken into account for breaches detected in older buildings. She said the Australian Building Code Board had since clarified the codes and made it very clear what was and was not approved. If we come across a scenario where that cladding has been recommended in more recent years, then certainly we will be looking at whether or not that person needs to be held accountable, she said. The most extreme penalty is deregistration, but one of the more effective compliance disciplinary processes is simply the naming and shaming of people. Other than that, there are fines up to $25,000. Detection of additional fire hazards likely. Ms. Randall said the inspections were also likely to detect a number of additional hazards that could land building owners in hot water. It's very hard to walk into a building with blinkers on, she said. When we're looking at the cladding we will have to look at the other fire safety systems. Some of them might be in relation to maintenance. The list of 214 buildings to be inspected is likely to grow as the Building Commission continues to receive information from local governments, some of which is understood to be archived paper-based records that are time-consuming to find. We're working very collaboratively with the local government and Department of Fire and Emergency Services to make sure that everyone understands the priority that needs to be applied to this, she said. The information will trickle in at different rates, so we certainly will be delivering outcomes with some of the buildings inside of 12 months and hopefully inside of 6 months. Ms. Randall said the process had been helped by added pressure from insurance companies. They've got their own interests to protect, and a number of building owners are being sort of confronted with a choice of either get a fire assessment done or your insurance premiums will be hiked quite a bit, she said. The Building Commission has taken steps to ensure that if building owners engage a fire engineer, the assessment satisfies the requirements of the audit as well as the insurance companies. Topics: Building on construction. WA first posted December 2, 2017 161,520.